Our meeting to order. First up this evening, got the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody, please stand. Face the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. First up this evening, we have approval of the agenda. Everyone's had a chance to look over the regular meeting agenda. We have no changes. Take a motion for approval.
So moved.
And a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Moving on now to our draft minutes. We've got two sets from our special call on June 8th and our regular meeting on June 16th. If there are no needs for any changes there, I'll seek a motion for approval of both sets.
So moved.
And a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Moving on now to reports. Had a busy weekend celebrating the 4th. Hope everyone had a wonderful time. Saw a lot of fireworks going off in my neighborhood. And sanctioned shows up in Cashers. So I hope everybody had a good time. Any other commissioner reports this evening?
No, I attended the Dillsboro Parade. It was an awesome parade. We honored our veterans and the people, excuse me, in our community that kind of are cornerstone founders of it, and it was a very pleasant experience. We had a great time.
I have to go to County Manager King and his report.
Just a couple updates on projects on the Whittier Heritage Ground. So we're ready for the event happening on July 23rd through the 26th and the 29th to the 2nd. Also, we'll have one in August. On the 21st of July at 4 o'clock, we're going to do a ribbon cutting. So that'll be before the meeting on the 21st at 4 o'clock. So anybody that y'all can participate would be great. The Whittier Heritage Grounds. And then also on September the 12th is the day that's recognized Jackson County's birthday, the 175th. And so we will also have an event there at the Whittier Heritage Grounds for that day. So we're working out the details. That's sponsored by the Jackson County Chamber of Commerce. So the administration building project, we are going vertical this week. So y'all can check it out. All the the first floor pad is complete. So we're starting up with the masonry at this point. So hopefully you'll see some more progress in that arena. And that's all I've got for today.
Now moving on to our informal comments by the public. Just a quick reminder, this is 3 minutes for us to listen to anything you have to say. The time will be shown on the screen in front of you, and we're not going to be answering any questions from this format. With that, Ms. Beth Baxley will be our first person this evening.
Thank you, Commissioners, for this opportunity to speak. I'm addressing tonight the policy for the use of the library community rooms that is being considered by you according to the Silva Herald. Our wonderful Silva Library Community Room, with its beautiful vista of the town and surrounding mountains, has a storied history of being transformed through much community effort and fundraising into a space intended for all the citizens of Jackson County to enjoy. It has hosted countless free and open to the public educational training and artistic presentations over the years, as well as many important topical and informational meetings, such as nonpartisan candidate forums and the recent presentation, for example, made by the Jackson County Board of Elections Director Amanda Allen recruiting poll workers. It has been the space for many private events such as weddings, rehearsals, baby showers, induction ceremonies, receptions, memorial services, and meetings of all kinds of service organizations. Citizens hosting these private events pay to rent this space. I added up the rentals over the past 2 years for the community room. It came to over $6,000. Now, it seems that you are considering restricting meeting use here in Silva and eliminating these private events and the income that it would bring to the library at a time when we're dealing with increased costs to run the library and a county budget that we currently can't meet. There are no comparable venues for holding such events in the seat of our county at affordable prices. There are only wedding venues and churches, which are either not affordable to all or not necessarily to everyone's choice. We don't want to go to SCC or Western. We want to meet where we feel the most sense of belonging and ownership and tradition in the heart of our town, which is our library. Please afford the people of Silva and surrounding areas the same consideration for space as you are exploring for the Cashlers Community Library space. Library space belongs to all the people, and we should not change this beloved tradition. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Baxley. Next up this evening, we have Rachel Huffman.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. Tonight, you may vote on a policy that will restrict access to one of our library's most valuable public resources. I urge you to consider not only the policy itself, but what it says about the direction we are taking as a county. Jackson County has underestimated the financial cost of separating from the FRL, and there is uncertainty about whether we will receive any funds through the dissolution process. At a time when every taxpayer dollar matters, it makes no sense to impose restrictions on a public space that should be serving as many community members as possible. You may hear tonight that any restrictions won't result in meaningful financial loss, but none of us can predict that. Policies that make people feel unwelcome don't just discourage room reservations, but they discourage community participation. If business is taken elsewhere because the library community room is not seen as something for everyone, the cost will be measured in far more than dollars. I also want to address the so-called advisory role of the library board. Creating a board that is expected to advise but has actual little influence over major decisions risks being viewed as a smokescreen to taxpayers, giving the appearance of community input while the ultimate control lies with those who have little to no library expertise. Our new library board should be empowered to do more than make recommendations on small and obscure items, but rather be a strong collective voice that has considered community input. This board often speaks about neutrality, transparency, and fairness. Those are principles I believe in, but principles only matter when they are applied consistently. We've been told that neutrality is the reason certain events like a pride parade are not allowed. Yet during the Veterans Parade this past weekend, the Sons of the Confederacy marched carrying a Confederate flag. If a Confederate flag can be carried, then a pride flag or any other flag representing a lawful community group should be afforded the same opportunity. Equal treatment is not about endorsing one message over another. It is about ensuring that government does not pick winners and losers based on their personal beliefs. If transparency is a guiding principle, then the public deserves some answers. Some members of the America 250 Committee have publicly stated they were not informed that the Sons of the Confederate would be participating. If that is true, who authorized their participation? Who coordinated it? Which commissioner appointed the individual responsible for making that decision? I'm certainly going to find out. These are not accusations, they are questions of accountability. The people of Jackson County deserve better. We deserve policies that are fiscally responsible, genuinely transparent, and truly neutral. Policies that are applied equally to every resident. I urge you to reject selective neutrality, reject selective transparency, and instead choose consistency and equal treatment. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Next up this evening is Debbie Buchanan.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners, and staff. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Debbie Buchanan, and I'm here to speak about the needs of the Cashiers community in Blue Ridge School. I moved to Cashiers 27 years ago, and during that time, it has been a constant struggle for our community and our school to receive the investment we deserve. We often hear that the southern end of Jackson County provides a significant portion of the county's tax base. If that is the case, then our community should see a fair return on those tax dollars. I appreciate the service of this board, but I believe it is time to make meaningful investments in Cashiers and Blue Ridge School. At last board meeting I attended, there was the discussion of the new middle school. At that time, Blue Ridge still had critical needs that were supposed to be addressed first. While I appreciate that some major issues have been resolved, many important items from the original plans for our new gym have been left off. Now, it seems all we're getting is a new gym. We were supposed to get new classrooms, cafeteria, and auditorium, and all of those things have been removed. We were being able to go and see those plans, but we haven't seen them in way over a year. We are no longer receiving the auditorium, like I said. Blue Ridge students deserve the same quality facilities and opportunities that the students at Smoky Mountain receive. I also have concerns about moving forward with the new middle school. We continue to face staffing challenges. If we cannot recruit and retain teachers by offering competitive, livable wages, how will we adequately staff another school? Before investing millions in new construction, I believe we should invest in the educators who make our schools successful. I also want to address the bond referendum that we discussed. A bond referendum could have provided voters with the opportunity to decide whether to invest in our schools and have addressed long overdue needs at Blue Ridge. Instead of asking taxpayers to support improvements across the county through a transparent public vote, we are moving forward with projects while Blue Ridge continues to wait for facilities our students need and have needed for years. Our community deserved a chance to weigh in on those priorities. Blue Ridge also needs stronger academic and career opportunities, programs such as woodworking and etc. And I know I'm about to run out of time, but finally, last but not least, we need a pool. Cashiers needs a swimming pool. There are two down here, and I realize that we have one vote. And there's
You're
three
getting a
votes for
pool.
the rest of the county.
You're getting a poll, right?
So
Cashiers?
we deserve a pool. Thank you.
Next up this evening, we have Susan Bogardus. Ms. Bogardus. Thank you, Ms. Buchanan.
Good evening. Not quite sure where to start. Sort of thinking about the ethics that you're using to make decisions for our county. We are a community. We are not autocratic. We are not divinity based. We are a community. And we need decisions made that affect the entire community. Having said that, the community room that we're discussing tonight is really there for everybody. It's not just there for specific people. I really would like the criteria to be better and more in place than someone's personal decision at each time when something comes up to be used in the community room. I would like it to be clear and actually support our community. I know that there are specific moral foundations that people use to make decisions, okay? But this use of this room has not harmed people. It has not caused disgrace to our community. I contra danced in there. I've listened to a harp concert recently. I go and listen to things about the forestry system in here and the water system. Maybe those things are just too radical for us to have at the community room. I just don't think that the majority of things that we see in the community room are detrimental to our community as a whole. Now, I do realize that there are specific people that hold specific things that they hold dear. I'm interested in the environment, so I really can't, I go off sometimes on the environment. I apologize. But the idea that we're going to regulate this because a group of people have decided that they're going to use their specific type of ethics and compute, not in our community. Do you want to do that yourself? That's fine. But our community needs this place to meet. Thank you.
Ms. McArdis. Next up this evening, we have Chris Hamlet.
You done?
Hello, my name is Chris Hamlet from Silva. I'm here to address the proposed library usage policies you'll discuss later tonight in your work session, specifically the disparity in access rights for Jackson County citizens, civic groups, nonprofits, and other local county entities. I am not a lawyer, but it did not take much time to determine counties are not legally allowed to geographically discriminate access to public meeting spaces within a county, which include public county library meeting rooms. Such spaces are considered limited public forums under the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. The 14th Amendment further says rules governing such public forums must be reasonable and viewpoint neutral. Banning local groups from using the local library meeting room in one part of the county while allowing it in another part of the county crosses into discrimination. At the state level, Article 1, Section 19 of the North Carolina Constitution, the Equal Protection Clause, says the state and counties cannot treat similarly situated residents and groups differently without a very strong and rational reason. Finally, North Carolina General Statutes 153A-11 says county inhabitants make up a single body politic and corporate. This legalese indicates county services and facilities must be administered equitably for the benefit of all county residents. All that boils down to facilities specific differences in usage, such as not allowing bird seed and rice in the mostly carpeted Albert Clark Library, while allowing them in the mostly wood and tile floored Jackson County Library Complex makes sense and are allowable. But differences in access rights based purely on geography are not. If the county tries to make the distinction that public meeting spaces of the Silva Library Complex are not in the library and therefore do not fall under the same equal access requirements as the spaces in the cashier's library, I doubt this would hold up if it went to court. I doubt a judge would be inclined to see a distinction in the type of facility between the community room and boardroom of the cashier library and the community room and boardroom of the Silva Library Complex. I doubt the judge would recognize that the library and meeting rooms in the library complex are separate buildings given the design, construction, renovation happening concurrently, and that the newer library proper portion was specifically built without large meeting rooms since those were being built into the older courthouse portion. The county can address this issue by either giving the Jackson County Library Complex the same access rights to county residents as the Albert Carlton Library, or restricting the Albert Carlton Library to the same very limited access as the library complex. If the second choice is made, it would simply reinforce the ongoing perception of Cashier's residents that the county services in the south end of the county are being neglected. I hope this board decides on the first choice and honor equal access to library meeting spaces for all county residents, regardless of viewpoint. Thank you.
Next up this evening is Antoinette McQuad. Ms. McQuad.
So I need to sign up first if I want to say anything new. They've all said it. I really hope that if you choose tonight to vote for or next month or whenever, the different policies for the two libraries, that you will also post why. Why are you choosing to make the two places function differently? Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have John Ritchie.
Hello, I'm John Ritchie. I've lived here for over 45 years, and I think others before me have spoken well of the various reasons why it's important to keep the community room open to members and to all the groups. But I wanted to give a personal experience. And that is that my wife, Jean Kirkland, passed away 4 years ago. And in her over 40 years in the community, she was a counselor that served many, many people. And I wanted to provide a setting that would honor her, that her friends, relatives, and those she had touched would have a chance to speak about her and to join others in support of dealing with her death. And I went to the church that my wife and I had attended in the past, and it wasn't large enough. I went to what I thought were the largest churches in the community, and they weren't large enough. And I don't know of another facility that is as large as the community room and also has the bonus of such a wonderful side wall that is all glass window to see downtown and the surrounding mountains, and has a wonderful setup to provide both indoor, outdoor, and a lobby. It was just the right kind of setting, and it brings community together when people can use something for events that are really personal and very important. And so I'm very thankful that the library was available. And the library was also able to make money because it was on a Sunday and I paid a fee and I was happy to do that. And so I think it's a win-win to maintain something that seems to benefit everybody. And I just wanted to give that personal experience. Thank you.
Additionally, this evening we had several come in from online. The first one, Steve Steen, we've all received that one. Public comment. Kendra Presley has also sent in public comment, and Tim Aiken has also sent in public comment this evening. With that, and no further public comment, we'll move on to new business and to set a public hearing for the Gibbons Webster Village Housing Bond.
So this is for your consideration, setting a public hearing for July 21st for the Gibbons Estate multifamily housing revenue bond. They're asking for a bond of $9,100,000, and this is just a process that they have to go through. It's not coming from Jackson County, it'll come from the federal government. So.
Mr. King. No.
Is that time correct?
6:25.
Do what?
Is the time correct or should it be 6:25?
Okay. Okay. With that, is there a motion to approve the public hearing? And a second? All those in favor? Aye. None opposed? Next up this evening is the NC Association of County Commissioners voting delegate coming up in August.
This is their annual meeting. It'll be on August 22nd. It'll be this Saturday evening on the 22nd at 2:15. Saturday afternoon, sorry, would be when the basically the group comes together and looks at policy and legislative efforts. So, you may like to attend.
I think I'm going to be down there. So,
Where's this located at?
Molly?
It's in Durham.
Oh, it's in Durham this year?
Yep.
let's say Durham County.
I'm going to be down there the following week. Does anyone else like to attend?
I might be able to. I'll check the calendar and see.
Okay.
I'll have to. Same. We'll just have to check. Okay. Hold on a second. Moving on now to legislation and the resolution R 2607, offer to purchase lot 4054 in Deer Run.
Yeah, this goes back to the previous meeting on the 16th, where where the board accepted a offer for $300 for lot number 54 of Deer Ridge Run. And there was no upset bid for that. So now this is the resolution authorizing that sale, $300.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second? Second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
Chairman Letson.
Yes. With no questions from the press tonight, we do have a need to go into closed session for personnel and legal. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. None opposed. We are in closed session. Session. Is there a motion to adjourn our regular meeting?
So moved.
In a second? All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Go ahead and call our work session to order. First up this evening, we have Tiffany Henry and Russ Siegel. Will bring Jackson County revolving.
Good afternoon. So tonight we're going to talk about our revolving loan fund. And just to give it some context before Russ comes up here, we've had a revolving loan fund in Jackson County for a very, very long time. It has been dormant at times. Most recently, during COVID, we started a different fund. We called it the All In Jackson Fund to help businesses that were needing some support while the SBA rolled out some of those funds during that time before they rolled out the PPP loan and the auto loan. And Mountain BizWorks administered those funds for us for that period of time. And then we revamped that. I started here in 21 and we revamped that. And it wasn't really used at Mountain BizWorks. And so I had been working with Russ Siegel and just, I would say context, I was a small business center director at Southwestern Community College for about 10 years before I came here. And I was in banking for almost 10 years before that. And so this was something that I really wanted to make sure that we were repurposing, we were using, and we just weren't doing that. And so I started working with Russ Siegel at Sequoia Fund to try and figure out how we could get this money to the businesses in Jackson County to spur economic growth. And he has since been working with his attorneys and trying to make sure that we do it in a way that is both, and I don't want to steal too much of his presentation, but he's going to talk a little bit more about what partnering with Sequoia Fund will look like for us and why we should do that. And then I will answer questions after he's done. How about we do that? Okay.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. Appreciate the time to be able to talk about Sequoia Fund, which is something that I love to do. And let's see, make sure I got the right gadget here to move us along. This is partly just Sequoia Fund 101, introduce you a little bit to our organization and what we do. We have been around since 1998. We were actually started in the mid-90s as a tribal loan fund. We were incorporated as a separate entity from the tribe in 1998. And in talking with Tiffany and her office, it became apparent that you've got some dormant capital that really could be working in the community. It could be creating jobs, and doing a lot more than just sitting there. And because we've done this before, it seemed only natural that we could help. We've deployed $35.5 million since our incorporation in 1998. We've done over 1,220 loans. Our loan ranges anywhere from $500,000 to $150,000. We've done larger loans than that, and I'll explain how in just a moment. But that is our wheelhouse. We're not here to fund million-dollar, multi-million-dollar businesses. Our specialty is those small businesses that don't have enough savings and are too small to go to a commercial bank, or maybe they're not old enough. I mean, commercial banks are not going to consider a business that's younger than 2 years old and not profitable. We've done to date 21 collaborations with Jackson County, Haywood County, with Southwestern Commission. We have 12 participation loans right now under management. So we are doing this. We're managing money for people who trust us, and we're very proud to be able to do that. We are a native certified community development financial institution. We're certified by the U.S. Treasury. We're overseen by the U.S. Treasury. And we have to submit more paperwork than I care to admit to them on an annual basis and on a quarterly basis. But we are mission driven. We're not here to maximize profits. We're here to maximize impact. And when you look at what it takes to manage a revolving loan fund in-house versus what it would look like outsourced to an organization like Sequoia Fund, you see some stark differences. There's going to be no demand on county staffing for administration of these loans. You're not going to have underwriting issues. That's what we do on a daily basis. We already have the software to initiate, track, report on loans, and provide you with impact reporting at any time, not just at official intervals, but anytime you call and ask, we can provide that for you. And that software is not amortized out to our partners. That's built into what we do for you. And it's updated, it's customized to our needs, and it's from a company that this is all they do, is lender software. We take care of chasing down delinquencies and all the things that go along with making loans. So you don't have to worry about that. There's an elimination of political risk. Everything is completely separate. There's a wall between the county and Sequoia Fund so that we're making objective decisions based on credit worthiness, and there's no, there won't be any hint of any favoritism, or nothing will come back to you that says, hey, why didn't Sequoia Fund make this loan? We don't really care who calls us. We do what we do. I mean, if you're willing to co-sign for somebody, maybe we can talk. But otherwise, no, we don't do that. But the main thing is more rapid capital deployment. We can get that money out the door, and projects that maybe we've already got in the pipeline. I'll also explain that in just a moment. So you see here that we can deploy your dollars. We can make those loans. We can report those loans back to you, and of course forward the funds back to the county. We can also pair those loans with our money and leverage those dollars to get even more impact. Somebody comes in needing $150,000. We can do that all day long. Let's say they need $200,000, $250,000. Well, that's above our maximum, but put the money together, and now we've got something that we could work on. But for the customer, it's a seamless experience. They get one closing, they write one check, they know one entity, they deal with one loan officer, and they deal with one portfolio manager on the back end of the loan. We take care of everything. We take care of the application, we take care of the underwriting, we handle the approval, the deployment, the servicing and the repayment, and then the reporting. And how we do that is really a matter of however the county wants it. We have some participating lenders who want reporting and remittances on a quarterly basis. Some want it less frequently. It really just depends on what the county is looking for. You have a role. Tiffany's office has a role. The Economic Development Office has a role. And that is to find opportunities in this community where capital needs to be deployed. It would be our role to underwrite those loans, to vet those loans, to do the credit due diligence and make sure that that's going to be a good loan for the county. And it's going to be the highest and best use of the county's money. And then we would make a strictly data-driven credit decision based on the information that we have. We are very blessed in this area. A lot of CDFIs, and there are 72 native CDFIs across the country. Not near enough activity in Indian country, but in non-native communities, there are over 1,300 CDFIs. And what we do is unlike anything a bank can do. Again, we're not here to maximize profits. A bank needs 1,000 reasons to say yes. They only need one to say no. We're almost the opposite. When someone comes in and they say, this is a crazy idea, we say, well, how can we make this work? And we are surrounded in our service area. We have the same geographic footprint that Southwestern Commission has. It's Haywood West. So we have 3 community colleges. We have a university, all of them with small business resources that are not available to most people in the country. I go to other places and they would give their left arm to have the kind of small business resources we have here. And so we don't do small business counseling, and we don't do business plan writing. I'm the last person who needs to help you write your business plan and then fund your account, because if it goes south, I'm a pretty easy guy to find. and I don't want people chasing me down. So we farm that out to the people who do that the best. And we had a business plan come to us a few weeks ago. It was abysmal, and it was not fundable. We sent the guy to the Small Business Center at SCC. They helped him rewrite his business plan, put it together, and it actually came back as one of the better business plans we've ever seen. And we funded that one today. So again, we're very blessed in this area to have these kinds of resources. What the county gets, you get credit insulation. You're going to be protected from any kind of decision making there. You're going to get political shielding because we're the ones making the decisions. If we turn someone down, that's on us, and we base that solely on creditworthiness. And is the business going to work? Is it going to cash flow? Again, we have a little more leeway than a bank would allow because that's how we're built. We're built to take more risk, but not all the risk. And you also have fractional risk. If you pair your money with ours and we do a participation deal, you're not on the hook for the entire deal. This gives you leverage, but it also gives you a little bit of protection in terms of protecting those county dollars.
So if somebody defaults on a loan and they go belly up, who loses?
So we are both on the hook for our proportion of the loan, but we handle all of the collections, we handle all of the legal work, we handle the recovery.
Who loses the money?
So if the money is lost, then both of us would lose our proportions, but it's our job to make sure that doesn't happen. We're the ones who go to court. When Tiffany mentioned our attorney, we use Mark Pinkston out of the Van Winkle law firm in Asheville. He has had over 30 years of nothing but lender representation. This is all he does. And it's his job to help us make sure that our collateral is secured and perfected. It's his job to make sure that the letters we send out, the phone calls that we make, everything is legal, compliant, and meets all laws and regulations. He reviews all of our legal documentation from closing to completion of the loans. We do that on an annual basis. Our default rate is about 2%, which is less than most commercial banks. And our delinquency rate, the CDFI fund allows us to have 17% of our portfolio as delinquent at any given time. And we've never been above 10%. That was during COVID. It hovers right around 7%. So again, as far as performance goes, I would put our financial performance against any bank. Of course, we're the neighborhood.
Y'all are out of where?
We're in Cherokee. We're based in the Qualla Boundary. I and two of our employees live here in Jackson County. And so we're part of this community. I frequent the businesses here, as we all do. We know the business community here like the back of our hands, and we're very tied to the business community here. So that's how we stay in connection with the local businesses. And again, you're going to get all of the benefits of having us manage that loan, and we're going to take away as many of the negatives as possible. Is there a chance that somebody could skip town? Absolutely. Has that happened before? Yes, it has. Has it happened before with the county's money? Yes, it has. Our job is to chase them down. That's what we do. We've chased people down in Wisconsin and Minnesota and Florida when they think they can get away without paying. It's not my favorite part of the job, but that's part of the job. We just completed our 12th consecutive undisclaimed audit, which means a clean bill of health for 12 straight years. That doesn't happen often in the nonprofit world. We are a nonprofit, but we are audited very, very much like a bank. We have bank level regulations. We have bank level security, bank level data security. Everything that we do is on par with any commercial bank that you would use. Our auditors are independent. We use Carter PC out of Asheville. Every year, the audit lead changes, and every 2 years, the complete audit team changes. So we're never audited twice by exactly the same composite team. Everything that we do is underpinned with a memo of understanding that sets the guidelines for what we're doing together, how we're doing that, and what the expectations are of the county and how we can meet those. Every loan will have an individual participation agreement. That sets the boundaries for that loan. It lets you know exactly what's going on with that loan, and it keeps everything clean. We don't do anything with a blanket participation agreement. Some organizations do. We're not really comfortable with that. We want every loan to have its own documentation so that everybody knows exactly what's going on. The risk sharing ratios are listed in there. Again, we take the bulk of that risk in terms of making sure that your risk is mitigated and minimized to the fullest. And we, of course, we have a board of directors who directs us, make sure we stay within our policies. The commissioners would authorize this. We would have a joint MOU review with the county attorney and our attorney. We would execute that, and then we would be in a position to start deploying capital as soon as those documents are signed and executed, ready to go. But my favorite part of the job is quite frankly getting to see people start a business, cut that ribbon, open the doors, and employ people because they were able to get money that they were not able to get anywhere else. And I've joked for years that a lot of banks stay in business because they don't make loans, and our job is to step in and do what they can't or what they won't. And more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. I know Tiffany said she would answer questions as well, but that's what I'm here for. And thank you again for your time.
I know there are a lot of factors that go into it. What's the typical rate?
Our average interest rate right now is right around 7%. I know there are a lot of CDFIs because we do have a higher risk appetite. Some of those interest rates start at 10%, go up to an average of about 12 to 14%. Ours do not. We don't have a single loan in our portfolio that's in double digits.
Any other questions? Do you have a card?
I don't have one on me, but I can get her a handful of them. And
I have a question.
Sure.
Not related.
Okay.
Not related to this meeting, but it is.
Okay.
Roughly how much is in that fund?
Close to $1 million. Yeah.
So you could get a few businesses off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
quickly.
What we would do is work on an MOU at this point, like, if that's what y'all want us to do, we can work towards that and then bring that before you. And then each individual business loan would come to staff to sign off on, and then we would transfer that money to Sequoia Fund prior to the closing for that particular business.
But that would be part of the funds, right?
It would only, yeah. I'm hoping we can fund a lot of different businesses. $1 million can go a long ways because, again, think about the size. And I think it's important when you're thinking about this type of loan program, these are generally startups. They're not going to take a lot of risk because they can't cash flow a lot of that risk. So these are people that are generally what we refer to in this world as unbankable. Mm-hmm. They're not bankable, so that's why they go to an alternative lender for loans like this. So the risk is higher. That's why the rate is generally a little bit higher than it would be at a bank. But with those interest rates, those are actually pretty good.
So we think of small businesses as the mom and pop Main Street businesses. The SBA actually defines businesses as having up to 500 employees. To me, a 500 employee business is not even in the same league as a local pizza shop. And yet that's how they define them. And when a lot of people think about funding small businesses, of course, there must be a manual somewhere that says, walk in and ask for $1 million. We find that most people need far, far less. In fact, our average loan is about $29,000. Our average business startup loan is just over $36,000. Again, we've done some that are much larger, but a lot of startup loans don't take a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about high risk, but smaller amount, so.
Not a lot of exposure. And when I say high risk, let me kind of put that in context. A bank a lot of times is not going to even look at you with a credit score of under 650. All right. So our credit floor is 550. So we give people an extra 100 points because nobody gets up in the morning and says, you know what, I think I'll have a heart attack today. Or I think I'll wrap my car around a tree on the way to work today. And yet that's what happens. And until we're able to get legislation in place that takes medical debt and all these other things off of people's credit reports, a bank is just going to boil you down to a 3-digit number. But we look at the whole picture.
That's great. I think there's a consensus. That seems like it might help. We're going the daycare out in Webster where each little room's
Yeah, the child flex.
Mhm.
help them start up, get capital, get that.
Yep.
The goal is to get a daycare, get them certified and everything, and then move out to a larger facility.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's one of the other advantages of doing it this way is we can't say, well, we only want to fund this type of industry or this type of business because you can't specify that. But having those protocols in place, that allows you to open it up to any of these businesses.
Right.
And, we saw that through COVID when people needed to, purchase a different kind of equipment or they needed to put a window in the side of a wall because they needed a drive-up window or a walk-up window that they didn't have before. And those were expenses that they didn't plan on. And those are things that you could kind of see this loan supporting. Obviously, you can kind of run the gamut. It could literally be a startup or it could be an existing business that needs to do something different and diversify.
And we've done some of those in Jackson County, the expansions and the retrofits and things like that.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a good way for the county to use county money to help people in the county.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we move towards that memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
We'll get that.
Okay.
We can get that to you.
We will get on it.
Can she get you my number? Give me a call. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany.
You're welcome.
Moving on now to our tax administrator and the new payment vendor, and Tabitha Ash.
Good afternoon. Mine is just more for informational purposes because we are switching our payment vendor for just property tax payments and occupancy tax. So I just want to give the public a little heads up before we send out tax bills this year that we're going to have a little different look if you are paying online through the credit cards and stuff like that. So what payments it includes, it is just for our real estate and personal property bills that we send out of the tax collections office. It won't change anything for your current registered motor vehicle payments. That'll still be that combined bill that you get from the Division of Motor Vehicles. And it will also do occupancy tax payments for those payments too. So the reason we're changing is we just had a lot of issues with, mainly with support. And I wanted to blame, people back and forth. We had issues that still to this day never got resolved. They also, our page for the tax collection page was maintained by that vendor too. So if we wanted to change anything, it was kind of a pain to go through. And then we just didn't feel it was modernized and could do as many things as we really wanted a payment system to do. And we also had to process the payments through that vendor instead of through our tax software. So it was just kind of trying to get it connected. So some of our goals that we were looking for, of course, to have a reliable and good support company. So we didn't get any runaround. Try to make sure it integrated very well with our tax software. And that we could process through that tax system, that we could now maintain, since we maintain our own pages now, we can maintain our own website page so I could keep it updated, better use of our search. We wanted to make sure that it was easy for, of course, the taxpayers. That's the main goal. It was mobile friendly. The bill that you get now hopefully will be a duplicate of what you would have got mailed, which is always a problem. And that you can also be able to set up installment or recurring payments as well. So that way, instead of having to go through, mail them in or whatever, you could set up a payment thing and say, I want to make a payment at the end of every month, $100 and get that bill paid down. We also wanted to make sure that we could start signing more people up for e-statements. We've been putting that on things, but with the postage costs and just issues with just mail in general, it would be good to start moving people who are willing to go in that direction. Also, it allows us a better notification process, so do a little bit more targeted communication to make sure we're trying to catch people, if possible, before they get into delinquency, because a lot of people who don't get those bills, then they end up being delinquent and having to pay, additional interest and things like that. And we just really wanted some accountability from us, from the company, and not just be pointing fingers. So now we have some additional things we're kind of accepting. Some of these we did before, but if you like PayPal and you want to do payments through PayPal, you can do payments through PayPal. If you're using your cell phone to make the payment, you can do Google Pay, Apple Pay. You still have eCheck. So we've got some more options. The only thing we want to offer is American Express. And that's just because it charged more of a penalty to do that, unfortunately. And they can't just charge just for that bill. They have to do one structure. So, but all those other will be the options. So now we will have a new tax collection page, because a lot of people were very confused on that, because it's like jacksonctax.com or something. So now we are a link on our regular webpage. Like I said, that we can maintain that. We can make sure it's updated. And then once you go through the payment page, hopefully it's going to be a lot more clear, a lot more easy to use. You just go ahead and click which payment option that you're looking to do. It's going to bring, option 2, I forgot, you can create an account as well, so you can go back and reference any of your previous payments if you want to get them for tax records easier or something like that. You don't have to do that, but that's an option if you want to do that. You want to set up those recurring payments and all of that good stuff. And that's just somebody's choice if they want to do. You do not have to do that. This is what our new search page will look like, so it's a little bit better. So you got your options there of which type you want to look for, and hopefully you'll be able to get everything that you need out of that. You can search just by unpaid bills if you wanted to just do that. So you just pop up if you put that individual's name in, and you'd see what bills were there. You could add all those to your cart, whichever bills you wanted to pay. Once you got it there, then it's just as simple as saying what you want to pay, clicking the make payment. I'm going quick, so slow me down if you want to get a real good look at it. And then you're just going to proceed to payment. It looks, I think, very similar to what you would expect in a lot of other payment vendor sites. And then you just pick which payment type you're going to use. So if you're on your cell phone, you'll have that option to do those mobile pay options. If you're not on your cell phone, you're on a desktop, you're not going to have that, option. But it just sets up and gives you the options to make those payments. Hopefully it'll be very easy and user-friendly for everybody to use that want to pay online. And the occupancy tax page looks very similar to the one previously as well. You just pick, that's a self-reporting type tool that you have. So I went through it really quick, but I'll be happy to answer questions. I just want to make sure that people did know that we did have a new payment vendor. It's going to look a little different. Site's going to look a little different. Of course, collections is there to help if there's questions and concerns. I just want to make sure everybody knew that before we send tax bills in a few weeks.
It does seem to be very user-friendly.
Yeah, well, we hope so. We hope that it's going to be a whole lot better, and I think overall.
Yeah. Is all of this, with this new program you have, I'm assuming it's all backed up to a cloud?
Yes. Yep. Sure is. Yeah. Yep.
That looks.
Yeah, it's all safe and secure. Yeah.
User-friendly.
Yeah. We hope it is. That's what the main thing we wanted when we look at one. I mean, it doesn't help anything if it's so confusing that the normal person can't use it. I mean, so hopefully we'll be able to go in and, like I said, you can create those accounts, and like a mortgage company, if they send in a different way, but if you had one that had a bunch of different accounts, say Vanderbilt or something like that, you can go in and they can add every single one of those mortgages they have and make one big lump sum payment on all those accounts at one time. So they're not having to go in and say, okay, I'm going to look, for Ms. Hoopers, I'm going to look for Smith. You don't have to do all that. They can go in, add all that into their account, and then just pay all those bills at one time.
I gotcha.
So, and same thing you could do as an individual. If you had some in your name and you were also going to pay on some that, in your daughter's name or something, you could add all those in and just get them all paid up at one time.
I think it's looks like a good program.
Yeah, thank you. So, is there any questions I can answer?
No.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you so much.
Next up this evening, we have Veteran Services and Sheila Setzer, the Veteran Service Officer. Sheila. Oh, I'm sorry. Anna's first. Health Department. Our Health Department report and Anna Lippert. Trying to keep Logan away.
Miss getting to hear from me. All right, I'm going to try the clicker. All right. So good evening, Commissioners. I'm here tonight to provide our department's annual report and talk about the impact of public health here in Jackson County. So our department's mission is to enhance, promote, and protect the environment and the health of our community through prevention and education. We're able to carry out our mission through our dedicated and knowledgeable staff. You can see here we have 63 full-time employees. We have a few part-time employees, and then we also have a few temporary part-time employees. We offer a variety of services and programs to improve the health of Jackson County residents. As I mentioned in years previous, we are mandated to provide certain services, but we do have some flexibility to tailor additional programs and services to meet the needs of our community. The health department is here to serve all 45,000-ish people who call Jackson County home. The data on this slide helps us understand the community that we serve, who we serve, the challenges that our residents face, and then why public health services are so important for improving health and quality of life here in Jackson County. So as you can see, our county is largely rural, no surprise to any of you. Where about 2/3 of residents are living in rural areas. Nearly 1 in 5 people live below the poverty level, and over 1/3 experience food insecurity. These challenges then are reflected in some of these health outcomes as well, where about 71% of adults are overweight or obese, a quarter report fair or poor mental health, and then you can see in 2023 we had 21 of our residents who lost their life to overdose. So substance use is still impacting our community. And overall, the life expectancy for Jackson County is just over 76 years. So we want at the health department and public health, we want all of our community members to live healthier, longer lives. So all the services that we're providing are to help move that forward. So numbers are one way we can illustrate the impact of our work here in Jackson County and our community. This slide is just a few of the metrics that we track each year, and it highlights our direct impact on the community this past fiscal year. If there's any that you want me to highlight there, always for myself to see the numbers put like that, it's just really impactful. The fact that WIC purchases locally is almost $900,000. The fact that our environmental health response time to first contact is less than 1 day, and just over 5 days to when a permit is issued is pretty impressive for a county of our size. So clinical services is one way that we can keep our neighbors healthy. Last year, we served over 3,000 unique patients for more than 5,000 total visits through our clinic. The graphic in the upper right-hand corner shows trend data for the last 3 fiscal years by the different clinical service types that we offer. Also just wanted to highlight too that last fiscal year we started offering a late clinic 1 night a week after we heard some feedback from our community surveys. So the second Wednesday of every month we offer a late clinic for folks that are working and have trouble getting there during normal hours. And then this year we're adding on a new rapid care clinic for county employees through Employee Health, and that's available for walk-in services 2 days a week. So we just started that this week. And I did want to highlight too that the school health team, they have a 91% return to class rate, which is
really awesome. And we went into the summer with a fully staffed school health team, so we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that that continues. So our environmental health section also promotes and protects the health of our community. Theirs is a little different. They're doing that through mandated inspections and enforcement of local and state laws. We have specialists who are authorized and registered through the state to enforce those laws. And then, of course, we have our animal control staff that are charged with enforcing state law as well as our county ordinance. And all the staff in this section really pride themselves on being not that regulatory figure, but as a resource for education in the community. So in addition to the inspections, they see that as an opportunity to provide education to restaurant owners, homeowners, and things like that too. Public health also plays a critical role in protecting our community by tracking and investigating infectious diseases and responding to public health emergencies. Based on the lessons that we learned during our Hurricane Helene response, we conducted a full-scale shelter exercise in Cashiers this past October. So we set up an emergency shelter, and that involves many moving parts. And it was really, really beneficial and valuable for everyone to come together and play that out. So we were able to, fine tune some different processes, learn different things that we might need to have on hand at the shelter. And so it was really good practice. And I think you can see there the different departments that participated. And I think it was really beneficial for everyone to put that into action. In public health, our work is really rooted in partnerships and prevention to improve community health. So this slide just gives you, again, just a portion of the programs and activities that we offer to the community through our outreach. A couple of things to note. With our AP3, that's our pregnancy prevention program, and we have an educator that goes into the schools and teaches rights, respect, and responsibility, and was able to get back into Blue Ridge School this year, which he had not been able to secure that relationship since COVID. So that was really exciting to be back there. The opioid settlement funds, those grants were released this year, which you guys authorized. So we have those programs up and going, and you can see some highlights so far, and it's not even been a full year that those programs have been implemented. And then also want to note that this year's Rally for Recovery is planned for August 30th, and that'll be from 4 to 6 at the Silva Bridge Park, in case anyone's interested in attending. So I want to take a minute to just share a recent success story, because I think that sometimes these things get overlooked, and I just wanted to make sure that this was brought to your attention. So late last summer, our team was notified of a potential active TB case involving a joint contact investigation. So the individual did not live in Jackson County, but they worked in Jackson County. So because of the nature of the disease and the overlap of the jurisdictions, it became a coordinated response between not only our department, but also our surrounding counties and then our state partners as well. We started first by identifying contacts and prioritizing those of highest risk, ensuring that they were notified, that they were screened, and offered testing. But as our investigation expanded, we ultimately identified more than 100 additional contacts during that investigation, many of which were very young children. So at that point, it wasn't really feasible to offer testing through a traditional clinic setting. We had to set up a mass testing event in our parking lot, which we had experience with, from COVID. But within just a matter of a couple of days, we planned and executed a full field operation. So we, of course, had intake and triage, the screening, traffic control. All of our staff had to be fit tested for respiratory protection. And then also not really part of the plan was a torrential downpour that We didn't lose anybody, but we lost a few tents during that event. But this response highlights how we have really strong partnerships here in Jackson County. So EMS and emergency management are really instrumental in helping us get that set up safely, making sure that everything was secure. They helped. EMS helped do testing on babies when we, needed extra hands. So I just like to highlight that because we do have really strong partnerships here in Jackson County. So throughout the response, in addition to, setting up the clinic, we held daily coordination calls with those partners I had mentioned before. We provided updates to the public. We maintained a dedicated phone line for folks to call in if they had questions, all while protecting the patient's confidentiality. So it may not seem like a lot, but that entire response was in just about 17 days. And in that short time, we were able to quickly identify and manage the exposure, while also protecting the individual's privacy and then also the health of our community. And this is just one example. So in North Carolina, if you're not familiar, there's 81 reportable communicable diseases in North Carolina. So public health in Jackson County is funded through a combination of federal, state, and local dollars. We operate under roughly 26 different program budgets. Each year, we're audited by the state for compliance and performance across these programs. As you can see in the chart on the screen, we are fortunate to receive significant local support through county appropriations. And that investment is really critical. It allows us to sustain and expand services that protect the health of our community. You guys as county commissioners play a key role in ensuring that we're able to meet public health standards and also respond effectively to local needs. And that investment goes a long way. The CDC estimates that for every dollar spent on public health prevention, communities save about $5.60 in healthcare costs and lost productivity. So together, this support helps us ensure that we continue our good work in protecting and improving the health of our community. Here I've just highlighted some of the key challenges and opportunities our team is currently facing. We see these challenges as opportunities. It gives us, a chance to be adaptable and responsive and then also proactive. We recognize that these issues are not unique to public health and they're not unique to Jackson County. But I do like to just, put that out there. These are some of the things that we're facing here locally. But there are opportunities. The Rural Health Transformation Program is money that came from the federal government to the states. We're hopeful that public health will see some of that money. I think there's still, the folks that were awarded here in North Carolina are still working through their contracts. So more to come on that. And as we look ahead into this upcoming fiscal year, our priorities are really focused on expanding our mission-driven outreach, strengthening our recruitment and retention of a strong workforce, and then continuing to build on our partnerships and preparedness capacity. Ultimately, our goal is simple. We just want to improve the health of every resident while maximizing every public dollar that's invested. So here's how folks can get in touch with us if they want to learn more about our programs or services. If they follow us on either Facebook or Instagram, they'll get health alerts in addition to some of the things that might be going on that we're hosting. And just to wrap up, I would like to say that, in public health, we are here to serve everyone. And our goal is to ensure that every resident has the opportunity to be as healthy as they can be. And I know that folks sometimes only see us during emergencies or public health events, but our team is working every day behind the scenes, making sure that our community stays safe and healthy. And we just want to build a healthier, stronger community for everybody. So I appreciate your time. I invite you all to, pay a visit to our department. You can come shadow a program or take a tour. We're happy to have you and happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Questions? Thank you so much
All
for
right.
all y'all do. Thank you. Next up, we have Veteran Services, Sheila Setzer. All right.
I tend to play Santa. Good evening. So I'm the Jackson County Veterans Office. We are housed in the Department on Aging, the beautiful building out there. Our mission is to provide a variety of programs, benefits, services, and community honors for our veterans, and to also engage in different events and county partnerships to expand resources to them and their families. And if you will just pay attention to this photo, I want to come back to that in another slide. So our office statistics, veterans disability, these are the numbers of disabilities that when they get a percentage, they're awarded. These are the different amounts that they receive each month for the 0 to 20%, 30 to 40, 50 to 60, 70 to 90, and 100%. These veterans are local. They live here. They spend their money in this county. The 100% veterans, they get a lot of different services through the state and the county. P&T is permanent and total. If they are awarded 100% for permanent and total, that means they are terminal. They can't work. They can't, they're not going to be here very long. And then the individual unemployability means that they are going to be too disabled to work, or that they are not of age to retire. So we do try to help them get every benefit possible. Ages of some of our new veterans that have been documented who have relocated here or retired here. So 17 to 44, we have 170. 45 to 64, we have 223. 65 and older, we have 437. We have 751 male veterans that are brand new, and we have 79 females. So that's jumped way up since in the 16 years I've been doing this. We have 31 new appointments each month. And so we're a very small department, but we're a very busy department. And I'm thankful that Ben is now fully accredited, so he's filing claims, and I'm just ecstatic. The North Carolina Division of Military and Veterans Affairs compensation totals for service-connected compensation, non-service-connected pensions, education, HISA grants. And the HISA grant is any grant. It's a once-in-a-lifetime payout that veteran receives for housing improvements. It's $6,800 each payout. For long-term care, VA paid facilities, burial benefits, etc., my department alone last year brought in $16.5 million for Jackson County. So I'm pretty proud of that. But that should jump way up by next year because Ben is doing claims.
So all of those on the right were new, that's in the 79?
They're brand new.
Oh, wow.
They're brand new.
Like in the past year?
In the past year.
Wow.
Yep. That's the ones that have relocated, retired here, and it's.
Make sure I heard it right.
Yeah. So veterans, county, and state benefits. This is one of my favorite slides. They get property tax exclusions, disabled veterans license plates, lifetime hunting and fishing license if they're 50% or more service connected with a reduced fee. Veterans ID card if they're enrolled in VA health care, or they are service connected at 100%. They actually get a retired military ID that proves they are a veteran. They get state parks who are service connected can receive a free annual pass to all North Carolina state parks. Highway tax exemption, use tax on vehicles specially adapted by the VA for veterans who are service connected.
Specially adapted vehicles owned by disabled veterans are completely exempt from local property tax. And the North Carolina DMV can place Veteran in Blue on the front and the back of your North Carolina driver's license to show you are a veteran for discounts. So they started that in 2015, but they are still continuing that. So this next slide shows the new PACT Act. It's not actually new, but they have added different presumptions that can be added to file for disability. And one of them, I'm hoping someday it will be added, is sleep apnea. That's the number one claim that we're filing for to date. But it is the number one denied claim in the VA to date. So I'm hoping sleep apnea will appear.
What would be the cause of that?
Sleep apnea is like for PTSD. It can also be caused by chemical exposure due to the lungs and stuff. And so it can cause breathing problems, shortness of breath, and it can also cause sleep apnea. We're still filing for Gulf War presumptive illnesses and Agent Orange exposure. And so they added some new disabilities last year to Agent Orange PACT Act claim, and the PACT Act claim covers Iraq and Afghanistan as well as the Gulf and Vietnam veterans. We have some new partnerships to better assist our veterans. We have the Four Seasons Palliative Care and Hospice. They now have a mobile unit where they can come out and do palliative care services for our veterans. And then if a veteran has a child, they also perform pediatric palliative and hospice care if they have a child that is getting ready to pass away. Haywood Hospice and Palliative Care. And since my dad passed away 5 months ago, I'm utilizing this service personally. But they do free grief group gatherings at the Department on Aging once a month. And they're free. They don't cost anything. And it's very beneficial to those who have lost a loved one. Cornerstone Caregiving, we have 2 of our local veterans that are utilizing this service. One is now terminal, and the other one is using for a chronic illness. They help with hands-on care, dementia, recovery, chronic illness, no minimum hours at all. And it's free in-home assessments. And then one of my favorite things is this caption call hearing loss. I even have participants at the Department on Aging that are not veterans that have signed up for this phone and got free phones. So we fill out this application, we send it in, and they've got a free phone in 2 weeks.
That's good. Are those phones that expensive? Like if somebody didn't get one, do most of them get them if they need them?
They do.
They do? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just wondered if they were expensive, if some didn't get them.
Nope, they don't cost anything. They actually come from DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services. Yeah, it's a good service for them. So this one is one that I have put in the paper, Claim Sharks and Predators. So the VA, the Claim Sharks and Predators are unaccredited for-profit companies that charge illegal fees, and they take, so what they do is if a veteran goes to a claim, what I call a claims hub, that's how I listed it in the newspaper, or they reach out to a veteran and they can promise them they'll get them 100% in a month or so. They want about $8,000 for that claim, which we don't cost anything. But they make them ever promise in the book that they're going to process these claims. They're going to. What that veteran does not know is it is usually a side attorney that has these these people that they pay, but they get 40% of this veteran's back pay once they are awarded right off the top. So that fee sheet will follow that veteran the rest of his days. As a veteran service officer,
I don't understand that.
No.
Oh, wow.
So as a veteran service officer and the VA, when they come to me and they've used one of these hubs, I can't represent them anymore. Wow. Because they have, because a lot of these hubs and claims predators will not relinquish their fee sheet or their representation. It follows them the rest of their days. So,
How can we get information out to these people to where they don't sign up for that kind of stuff?
well, it's all over Facebook. It's all over the news. And I done about a half sheet article in the Silva Herald to promote that as well. And the Congress and Senate are trying to shut these hubs down because they are exploiting our veterans.
So they know that. It's shut down.
So if you see any of these things on Facebook, or a veteran comes to you and says, oh, well, Sheila's, she's great and all, but she's not, processing my claim fast enough, or I've waited 6 months or whatever, I can't promise them anything. But if they go to this hub, they're going to be charged an astronomical amount of money. And then they get 45% of their back pay just shaved right off the top. But that is a legal binding fee sheet that is housed in our regional office here in Winston-Salem. And so each time they file a claim, they're going to get the back pay. And then, like, if they say, for instance, I do take that veteran back and I do the work, that claim shark is still going to get 40% of that, 45% of that back pay for the work that I've done. So that's why I'm trying my hardest to promote that these veterans, not every county has a VSO, but most of them have one or two at least. So, and I'm just trying to get the word out that they do have it's an OCG number per veteran service officer. And so we are fully accredited by the VA. And so, and we did have a claims person that was filing claims in Cherokee, and he got caught.
Oh, good.
So, yes, we did shut him down because of that. So, like I said, Jackson County Veterans Office is a small office, but we're a very busy office, and I wanted to go back and go over some of the things that we did last year. So we always have our volunteer appreciation, and we help the Department on Aging with some of their events. So we had the volunteer and veteran recognition back in April. We hosted all 7 Western County VSO offices for training in May. At the Department on Aging. That's why I love where I work in that building, because we can utilize a lot of the space there. Department on Aging MedAssist event, the Smoky Mountain Veterans Stand Down in Franklin, that we target our homeless at that stand down, and they get free haircuts, and the clinics are there, the hospital is there, so they get medical care there while they're there. The Charles George VA Medical Center. So I was asked to do a Quilt of Valor presentation in the CLC, which is the Community Living Center. And I done hospice first because there was some of them that were getting ready to pass away. But I done 3 days of Quilt of Valor presentations at the Charles George, and I presented some of the employees. And then the Veterans Day concert, the Veterans Day Appreciation Dinner. And if you've never attended an appreciation dinner, I would love to see you guys there this year, because we have great presenters, and we have great food, and we have a great raffle, and it's just a great night. So
Is that when it is, November 6th? You have one?
we have one.
Okay, no, and I didn't mean that smart. I just.
That's okay.
My
That's
calendar.
all right. And we usually have 250 in attendance each time. So my next slide is for this year. So these are some of the trainings that Ben and I have had, and some of the events that we've had. So we done an assist suicide training, and it was very, very beneficial. And we've got the VA hospital in Asheville that's coming over, because we really, really, really want to promote suicide awareness in Jackson County. Our spring conference in Winston-Salem, and then we are partnering with the UNC Chapel Hill to do the Healthy Vet Project. There was the first one on the Greenway. We done another Quilt of Valor presentation at Pine Grove Baptist Church in Franklin. We partnered on July the 4th at Bridge Park to recognize our veterans and to do a reenactment there. And then we also have the upcoming Cherokee Expo, and I was there. We were there today. But it is a lot of claims agents, veteran service raters there from Winston-Salem. And so any claims that we can't seem to get through, or they won't adjudicate them or whatever, we take our cases there, and they do the medical exams on site and award that veteran that day. So it's a great benefit, and we're going to be down there again tomorrow. And then, of course, we have our fall conference that's coming up in Carolina Beach. So the North Carolina Division of Military and Veterans Affairs. So I'm not a fan of grants. They're hard to complete, but I love this one. My office was awarded $18,288.98 past year. So I want to go over each item. So we bought all new office furniture for our waiting area. The second slide that you saw, that's all brand new furniture in our hallway. New tables, chairs, bookshelves, and lamps. We bought promotional items for our veterans and our events from Positive Promotions. And we stayed local and used Hannah Coles for our hats and t-shirts, magnets, and stickers. We ordered brand new computers for both offices and an extra monitor. We bought 2 cooking stoves from a local friendly appliance in Whittier for 2 veterans, one of which was cooking on a gas grill in his living room. And he needed a cook stove. So we bought from our local Walmart 5-pack air conditioners, 7 fans, and bought and installed 3 air conditioner window units in 3 veterans' homes last summer. And when we went into one lived in Cullowhee, I'm surprised he didn't smother to death. It was so hot in that house. Me and Ben were like, it was awful. So, but we were able to put him in a window unit. And so we had 2 veterans in Sylvan, 1 in Cullowhee. We bought a 10 by 16 storage unit from our local Outdoor Storage Solutions, Inc. in Whittier, and for our veterans lending closet. And it holds disposable undergarments, canes, walkers, rollators, medical supplies, lift chairs, and other medical items. And they don't cost this veteran anything. It's our lending closet. We also paid for advertisements and publications. We bought storage containers for our event supplies and the medical supplies to house in our veterans lending closet. And they had told us about a second round of grant. So I filled out another grant application and had everyone to sign it. And I've also asked for another $24,000 that I haven't heard anything back from that. But I want to thank Matt Brommel with Project Fire, who's in the Department on Aging. He built our ramp and our Public Works for making our sign. And this is our lending closet. And it's in the parking lot there beside of the Department on Aging one. And then you can see the ramp that Mr. Matt built for us, and then Public Works made our sign for our storage shed. So if you know of anybody, any veterans that need a cane, a walker, a rollator, we do have lift chairs and disposable undergarments. They don't need to apply for anything. They just need to come get it.
What about a wheelchair?
We have wheelchairs there.
You have those too?
Mhm.
I gotta find out if this one guy was a veteran. I ran into him at Lowe's the other day, and he said that's the only thing he needed, but he was literally on the hot pavement on his knees with knee pads on, and he had part of his leg missing.
We can hook him up.
He was trying to get his wheelchair off the back of the car, and he was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
I don't need any help. I mean, it was so hot on that pavement, just outside. I can imagine having to put your legs down on the pavement.
So the rollators are my very favorite, I guess, appliance. My dad had one as a disabled veteran. Rollator is a walker, and it's got a seat,
Yeah.
and so you can turn around and sit in it when your legs get weak.
Okay.
So that's it. It's a pretty awesome, and they've got a little storage bin, to put items and stuff. It's a really cool appliance. And so last but not least, this is our veterans events that are coming up. So we have a national band from Nashville, Tennessee, the Ronnie Call Band, coming this year, and we're going to hold it at Bridge Park. We had a car show last year, inflatables, food trucks. So we'd love for you guys to come and join us there. And then we're having our Veterans Appreciation Dinner on November the 6th, and we're starting a little early this year at 5. Yeah, from 5 to 7. And then the welcome to the Healthy Vets Community Project. We're going to do the very first, I call them stand downs, but we're going to do our very first Veterans Resource Fair in Jackson County, and we're going to host that on August the 25th at the Department on Aging. It's just kind of like a stand down, community resources and things. We're going to partner with North Carolina UNC. And so that'll be our first one. And then, last but not least, I do have an obstacle for my department that I wanted to present. We are having transportation issues for some of our veterans. Jackson County Transit is amazing, but they only transport our veterans to the VA hospital and clinic on certain days of the week. But we have veterans that use community care through the VA hospital in Asheville, where they have to go outside the VA for services. And so I would like to get some feedback from you guys on how to bridge that gap. If we have a volunteer that could possibly take our veterans other places, just besides but that's an obstacle that we've had for quite a while. And trying to find someone to take them and to volunteer to go, or we just need some help on that. So I'd like to have some feedback
Are
on
there
that.
any other vehicles over there available in transit?
Would depend on the utilization and have to be an employee, and there'd be all kinds of things like that we can look in.
Okay. And then last but not least, I have applied to establish the first DAV chapter in Jackson County.
The first what?
DAV, Disabled American Veterans chapter in Jackson County. So I want to establish that for veterans, and the DAV is very beneficial in a community for funds, for emergency assistance, for collaboration, for partnership, for for the veterans that have a place to go.
Yeah.
And so I have applied to establish the first DAV chapter here in Jackson County. So I'm waiting to hear back from the national president of the DAV.
Yeah. So when you say have a place to go, like live or just to?
Well, so you have some veterans that are homeless, and the DAV can help with funding on that my department can't,
Yeah, that's good.
and other resources possibly that. And they also have a chapter in Haywood County that helps with. They have a DAV bus, and they help with their veterans there with transportation and vehicle assistance and things like that. To pay for things that my budget can't.
Right.
And so, of course, obviously it's,
Right.
The DAV nonprofits.
I mean, and remember, keep in mind, I guess I could utilize that, the rolling start.
Yeah, we have that as a contact.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's an application thing. It's not an urgent thing.
Right.
But I've had to utilize Haywood County DAV when a veteran has needed a set of tires or their engine blew or emergency, assistance and things like that goes beyond my budget.
Right.
And so they have been very helpful with bridging that gap with some of my veterans here in Jackson County. But I've had to go to Haywood County, but I'd like to start a chapter here.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So
They came and gave a presentation, I think, in April or March, the Haywood DAV.
Yeah.
I think they gave some money to our junior ROTC for the high school. I think they gave some money for the uniforms and stuff.
and they're a really good organization. They really are. So but I have one last thing. I have each of you a goodie bag. This was bought with our state money. These are the goodies that we give out to our veterans and to our community departments.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll set it right here for him.
You've got some hats and some jumper cables and some stickers and magnets and goodies in there. And so I do appreciate all the support that you've given my department. Thank you for supporting the veterans. And I just appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Any questions from Ms. Setzer?
You guys have any questions for me?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Moving on now to our library room utilization policy, and Mr. King.
These are drafts. A lot of people have asked me kind of where this came from. This is a current policy that was developed for the Department of Aging many years ago, and this is basically the same verbiage that's currently being used at that facility because people can rent that facility out in this area. So anyway, the first one, there was some dialogue about utilization of the executive or the boardroom or the community room. So this policy is just for the community room. My suggestion would be the boardroom could be utilized just like the other, quiet areas of the library, that people can come in and just utilize it and sign up with the library staff. So this one, I think the dialogue amongst the board members have been to use it for the complex or the community room be used for library purposes and government meetings. So I think that was the sentiment at the time. So, but it's up for your consideration and draft. The Albert Carlton Library Policy and Procedures, and I think on one of the drafts that was sent out, and that's my fault, it had Albert Coates, and that's actually a building in Raleigh with League of Municipalities and Association of County Commissioners. So I apologize, that's a snafu on my part. Anyway, that is almost identical to the Department of Aging policy that the board approved back in 2014. So that's almost identical to that, the utilization, all the insurance stuff and things like that. So anyway, both of them are for your consideration, and they are drafts, so you can tweak them however you want to.
Thank you.
Do we want to do any tweaking to them now, or we'll come back at another time after review?
I think review them and come back.
Okay.
What do y'all think?
That's fine. It'll take a little bit to look at them. Moving on now to other business. Mr. King.
Yeah, I do have one additional item. So we've been throughout the process of in Cashier's area looking at the water and the different partners in the water piece, and it seems like there's a lot of challenges in the Cashier's area trying to find adequate water supply for do a public water system. And so throughout this process, the county appropriated $100,000 to do a study. That study was complete, and now we're kind of in a process where we're wanting to implement. We need to start looking at the future, and this is something that's not going to happen overnight. It's a 5-year plan, but our thought process with all the different partners in the area is for the county to create a water and sewer authority in the Cashiers community, and to work with state and federal agencies to try to regulate, through the process of and it's going to have to be partnerships, but basically get grant money to start utilizing what's currently on the ground, but also look at surface water, putting in a water plant to try to, for the community, working with TWASA and how they currently utilize the sewer system to expand that. Looking at the horse pasture, which has been on the radar for quite a while, to try to we've got the discharge permit, but that money is 30-ish million. And so all of this there needs to be a water and sewer authority in that area that just does that system. And so next month, so let me back up just a second. So through the process, there is a process you have to go through. One, you have to show need, which that's what Buddy Melton and it's through who was that through? CDC, correct. Through that process of the plan, he will have a PER, a preliminary engineering report, that would basically substantiate the need for a sewer and water authority in the Cashiers area, which I think we all agree it needs to happen. And so then we can, through a public process, you'll have a couple public hearings, and then you basically create it. And that's a created entity. It's a quasi-governmental entity, just like TWASA, but it's only for that community. So, and in that way, it enables that entity to go after grant funding. Also, it'll look at the laws, and I guess create that process. They can go out for loans. Anyway, it'll be another entity. So, I think that it's my recommendation and a time to make this happen, and I would bring that to you next month to try to start that process, at least for your discussion.
Our grant window is September, is when the next round of grants go out.
Correct. I think it's going to be a lot of, a lot of partnerships, already in the community, Carolina Water, High Hampton, all the different partners, the public-private partnerships. And by enabling a quasi-governmental entity to be created, I think you're going to have a lot of people coming to the table with the assets to maybe have a management organization over what's already there, plus look at the future. And the future is you need a water system that's bringing off the surface water and not in the wells. So
It's better use of resources as well, because it brings wells together online so that they're not all drawing at the same time to recharge systems. It's a win for everybody.
So if y'all are all right with it, we'll still continue down that path, and I will bring the enabling legislation and the public policy and the public meetings that are required through the process. So that'll be in the next couple months.
Good.
With
One other item that we probably need to discuss is the existing UDO and how it around the crypto and bid, just so for everyone's awareness that it's on our radar, and that right now it pretty much eliminates the possibility of a data center. We've heard many people complain about a data center coming in, and we already have a UDO in place that kind of prohibits that, but I think we need to expand upon that and expand the verbiage that.
So at the planning meeting that's going to be happening, I think next week, that's one of their topics for discussion, and it does go back to the crypto mining. That was the definition we put in several years ago. Crypto mining is similar in definition form, and so their planning department's going to kind of look at that and make sure that it's going to cross over. But there will be so much limitation on a data center if they had the same definition of the crypto mining, which it should. And so basically they'd have to do 100% resource. So if they take 100,000 gallons of water, they'd have to figure out how to get that 100,000. It can't come out of public use. If they look at the power utilization, they would have to put back into the system the amount of power they're having to take out. So it's pretty much a net zero. So I mean, any company that would have to come in and do that, it would be extremely expensive just to be able to do that. So not to say they can't be, but I think that I don't know. And Mike Poston was going to be here tonight, but I think next week they're going to study it, to look at it, to make sure that everything's kosher. But he's going to come back probably the next meeting in August, and then we can have another dialogue about that. If there is a need for a moratorium type of instrument to be put in place, I don't think there's nothing to prohibit you not from doing that. But I do think at this point there's so many roadblocks in place that we don't need a knee-jerk reaction, I guess.
there's sound ordinances that factor in, and screening.
Yeah.
And.
But I just wondered if it wouldn't, because I've had so many calls on it, if it might not be better. I mean, we can look at it, like you said, next month, to just put a moratorium on it, and then we don't have to worry about it, period. I mean, I've had lots of calls, but.
I'd be in favor of that, and also defining or expanding or scoping the verbiage so that it includes data centers specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
I agree with John.
Right. Yeah. I know I asked him, I guess it was back in May, about this, kind of looking at that. And at that time, he said that definition would cross over to data centers. So, meaning that crypto and data are similar in content.
I would still like it to be
Yeah, I would
spelled
too.
out.
I would too.
Yeah.
That way
We can
there's no skirting around it.
We get Mr. Cubis involved so that the legalese matches.
I think it'd make the public feel better about it too if it was spelled out more.
I agree.
No further business this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. We are adjourned.